Just a heads up before we get started, this video contains scenes of extreme violence and gore between a variety of little claymation figurines that honestly might be a little more intense than the two-dimensional ultraviolence we've long become desensitized to over the years. They are essentially just little Play-Doh guys fighting each other, but it can get a little messy, so viewer discretion is advised. But if you do choose to watch, take heed the words of the original Deathmatch disclaimer and try to remember, it's just clay. Alright, here we go. Celebrity Deathmatch is a 1998 MTV claymation comedy fighting series in which clay versions of celebrities brutally murder each other in comedic and horrifying ways for the enjoyment of a bloodthirsty audience of fans in attendance and in reality watching at home. Created by Eric Fogel, who'd previously helmed early MTV weirdo animated series The Head, Celebrity Deathmatch is the logical culmination of a decade most defined by celebrity tabloid culture, gross-out humor, extreme violence, and a general sense of cynicism, all coming together in a rejuvenated retro format showcasing what could essentially be described as a 3D Looney Tunes splatter film on steroids. If you've ever wanted to see Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers rip off Kenny G's jaw and use it as a boomerang, or Alanis Morissette flatten Jewel into a hockey puck to explode into a cloud of blood, this is the show for you. Although expert in its biting satire of the times, despite its depraved content, Celebrity Deathmatch generally shied away from mean-spirited comedy, opting rather to focus on creating outlandish and creative set pieces over a non-stop tirade of juvenile humor and goofy puns.
Looks like Trent's using his notorious 9-inch nails.
NSYNC may be in trouble. Sounds like 98 Degrees can't take the heat.
It was an excessive, outrageous, big fun mess that captivated audiences worldwide during its short run and may be one of the most accurate microcosms of the overall vibe of the entire decade. Needless to say, if you're looking for a crash course in late 90s, early 2000s celebrity pop culture through a blood-soaked battle royale tailor-made for a generation of misfit toys, this might be the most comprehensive guide available. The show was generally comprised of 3 individual match segments between a wide range of celebrities across the pop culture spectrum, hosted by fictional fight commentators Johnny Gomez and Nick Diamond, and featuring boxing legend and TV judge Mills Lane as a referee. The series would have its fair share of recurring guests over the years, and even a few WWE superstars who'd occasionally show up to voice themselves in a battle. But the one man who really stole the show and became a mainstay of the deathmatch community could probably best be introduced by his peers.
The Professor of Punishment with a Masters in Mayhem.
The High Priest of Whoop-Ass. The Duke of Destruction. The President of Punishment.
World Wrestling Federation superstar and the sweatiest guy on basic cable.
A man with a doctorate in destruction. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Pain.
Stone Cold made his first appearance in the second episode of the series and remained a vital part of the goings-on up until the very last episode of the show's original run. Starting off as a guest announcer in Season 1, Austin would see his fair share of action pretty quickly, saving a lost child by taking out both Tom Cruise and Bruce Willis, and getting to walk out with both Nicole Kidman and Demi Moore in only his 3rd appearance on the show.
Looks like Stone Cold has a heart of gold.
And of course, opening up a can of whoop-ass in his very own deathmatch versus Vince McMahon, this time going a couple steps further than the routine stunner and beer bash.
Oh, and if you want to see me drag his coffin out into a field and set it ablaze, give me one more hell yeah!
But Stone Cold's instructional role delivering fighter facts and analyzing the vocal patterns of cryptids in his advanced scientific laboratory may have given us the most insight into what his role would gradually morph into in seasons to come. By his first appearance in Season 2, Stone Cold had already invented and built his own time machine, allowing the deathmatch roster to now feature prominent figures from throughout history and potentially really mess up some combatants in its own right, like the time Larry from the Three Stooges tried to de-age himself only to accidentally revert back to,
Man-seed.
which actually gives them the advantage in defeating a weaponized Viking Pavarotti. Austin would also serve as MC for the stand-up comedy open mic, murdering each contestant including Joe Piscopo with an automatic death cannon, as well as surviving getting hit by an airplane and even delivering a Stone Cold Stunner to a moose, which is objectively pretty friggin' awesome. But maybe the most important revelation in Season 2 is the introduction of the Institute for Rehabilitating Dismembered Celebrities, a division of deathmatch dedicated to putting back the pieces of celebrities that had fallen victim to past battles. Although the initial clip in Season 2 shows several doctors at work in a modern above-ground hospital, Subsequent appearances of this protocol would generally take place in the arena basement, with Stone Cold Steve Austin chiefly in charge of the operation and overall celebrity waste recycling system. This would set up one of Austin's main roles throughout the remainder of the original seasons, creating horrific freaks out of discarded celebrity body parts to pit against each other in terrifying freak fights, and essentially acting as an archivist to an extensive armory of advanced weaponry catered to suit whatever the show's present needs. In addition to fathering such genetic abominations as Cousin Grimm and accidentally giving life to a mutant potato, Austin also helps rehabilitate Courtney Love from a grizzly bear attack.
Now get the hell over here and give me a big old smooch.
And gets to tangle in the political arena, representing Deathmatch in front of the United States Congress, negotiating an imminent nuclear assault with then-President Bush, and nearly beating Ted Kennedy to death with his own arm.
You know, I don't usually get the opportunity to put my double major in professional wrestling and political law to good use.
Austin is essentially a jack of all trades for the Deathmatch crew, a heroic deus ex machina, ready to save the day whenever things get out of hand and take on any role necessary to keep the show going. Celebrity Deathmatch would air for 4 seasons, receiving critical acclaim from fans and celebrities alike.
I hate Celebrity Deathmatch.
And even getting its own video game for the PS1 and 2, before its inevitable cancellation in 2002. The show would return for 2 additional seasons in 2006, but with an all-new voice cast and little to no involvement from the original creative team. Eric Fogel would continue to create completely insane cartoons in his signature style, and is currently an executive producer on Tony Hale's children's series, Archibald's Next Big Thing. Although there have been several attempts over the years to revive the series, most notably a project announced in development with Ice Cube back in 2018, MTV shows of the era have notoriously had their fair share of difficulties with licensing and release issues in the past, and as of this video there are no current plans for a new Celebrity Deathmatch anytime soon. But Fogel remains open to the possibility of a future Deathmatch return, and has nothing but good things to say about his experiences working with Stone Cold. Due to its repetitive structure and calamitous content, Celebrity Deathmatch can be kind of an overwhelming show to try to binge watch. But it's also easily one of the weirdest and funnest shows I've seen thus far. And if you're a fan of Steve Austin, probably his most enduring role, appearing in 17 episodes total, and the most effective medium in utilizing Austin's acting talents and showcasing the larger-than-life personality in a way befitting of the legendary figure we all idolized throughout our youth as the coolest guy on the planet. And that concludes our look back on Stone Cold Steve Austin in Celebrity Deathmatch. Our next stop in Stone Cold's Hollywood career sees Austin's first character role as Detective Jake Cage in popular 90s action series Nash Bridges. But before that, we're going to take a quick detour in honor of the upcoming Owen Hart Foundation tournament to take a look at the very brief acting career of one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. All this and more next time on Headlock Cinema.
I started with the basic premise that all of God's creations are all just an accumulation of matter, be it carbon atoms, diglycerides, or what have you. Now, when I applied this premise to Rheingold's theory of the time-space continuum, I knew I was onto something really friggin' important. A few sleepless nights later, my time machine is finished, this fight is on, and that's the bottom line.